going to grab a bolster and a block. If we don't have either of these, you can use a book and a couple of pillows. But if you can get your hands on a bolster, then that would be fabulous. So we're going to start off today with our block propped up and our bolster resting down on that block. Our sit bones are going to come right to the edge of that mat, of that bolster, sorry. Guide your legs in like so. So they are in a gentle butterfly position. We then relax the back across the bolster. Take your hands into a gentle frame position. So you hold opposite elbow, and then drop your arms back. So this is our first position, supine butterfly. Because this is a yin practice, we're going to allow a complete relaxation down of the muscles. This means that the face muscles, from the forehead down through the cheeks, the shoulders, the pelvis, the hips, everything becomes soft and heavy. Everything melts down. At the start of your practice, the stillness of the pose and the silence of the present moment are likely to feel quite intrusive, quite loud, quite unfamiliar, and for that reason uncomfortable. That's completely normal. It's normal that the mind will see the silence as something that it needs to fill. Each time the mind begins to wander, we allow ourselves to simply accept wherever it has wandered to. We step into something known as the observer state. This means we don't place any secondary judgment, conversation, or attachment on what we've observed. We just witness where we landed. We don't need to trace the conversation back. We don't need to decide why we had this thought, where we store it in our body. Instead, observe the thought exactly as it was when we became aware of it. If it was attached with any energy shifts or emotions, we just allow it to exist in stillness, without shifting it or moving it, without pushing it away and rejecting it, and without pulling it in and accepting it as part of us. We just allow it to exist as something that we are experiencing in the present, in our conscious mind. Similarly, the mind is equally still, sitting in stillness, observing. When you're ready, we're going to send both arms all the way down by your side. We're going to slowly, I would usually use the arms here, guide the arms outside of the legs and push the legs together, sending the legs long when you're ready. This is your counter pose here. Arms come out by your side, legs along. We don't need long in this counter pose. Just observe the sensations that run through your pelvis. It's likely that because we were relaxed through the muscles in that pose, whilst it started off intense, the sensations probably dissipated into quite an enjoyable sensation and pose overall. This happens in yin, when we allow ourselves to come into a pose without resistance, even when gravity lowers us down. The intensity gets gentler because we are surrendering physically, because there is no resistance or switching on of the muscles. And the same can be said for the silence and stillness of yin. Whilst they might start off a little bit unfamiliar and therefore uncomfortable, they often become very enjoyable. We often fall into that silence and stillness and find it peaceful and relaxing, as opposed to something that needs to be filled. And this will happen naturally throughout the course of your sessions. As you fall more and more into that yin-like essence. When you're feeling ready, as slowly as you can, we're going to make our way upright. I'm going to bend one leg. So this leg could be like so, or it could be propped a little bit more underneath your body, like so. This is a little bit more intense on the inner hip and less intense on the outer thigh. So you choose what feels right for you. We again would like our pelvis to be right up against the bolster. We then relax back and down, and you should feel a lovely stretch all the way down through that front pelvis. If it feels far too intense, then please do not feel that you need to take any of these poses. You can absolutely prop that leg up as well for a bit more support if you need. Arms draw down by your side, and we relax. In yin, we hold our poses for minutes at a time, and however many minutes that is completely up to you. You can always leave the poses early if you feel like you've reached your limit, and you can pause the video and stay here for longer if you feel like you need more time. On average, 3 to 5 minutes is a beginner's yin practice. And as practitioners get more and more comfortable with the uncomfortable, a whole session could be comprised of just 2 poses, 30 minutes in one and 30 minutes in the next. Yin is very much like a moving meditation. In each pose, we allow ourselves to settle down, observing the breath, observing the sensations, And then when the mind does wander, we just allow ourselves to observe that in stillness, with the thought itself being still and our observing mind still. Often, when I notice that my mind has wandered, I allow myself to visualize the thought just in front of me, not creating a detachment, but an element of non-attachment. I'm not looking inwards, I'm looking outwards. Something that you're experiencing and observing, rather than something that you feel or have created. I also allow my awareness to gently travel back to the physical when I'm ready. Observing a thought that you experience in the present is no less a practice of the present moment than observing the breath or the physical sensation, but it can be harder to not respond. So whenever you feel ready, allow your awareness to travel back towards the breath, towards what you can feel. I'm going to move onto the other side when you're feeling ready, as slowly as you can. We make our way up. We're going to draw the other leg round, like so. And if we would like to prop ourselves up onto that leg more, it would look a little bit more like this. It would be more intense through that front thigh. If we'd like it a little bit more out to the side, it's a bit more intense on the hip. So work out what feels right for you. When you're ready, you can relax down. If you want that base leg to be bent, then you can. If not, we leave it alone. And we allow ourselves to become heavy. So yin is amazing for the energy body. It's amazing for the balancing of the yin-yang energies, bringing a yin-like essence into your yang lifestyle, or what I assume is a yang lifestyle because of the age we live in. We don't need to tell the mind to be still and simply expect it to follow suit. We don't need to tell ourselves to be zen or yin or calm and relaxed. We send this complete acceptance to ourselves, however we are. No matter what state we've arrived on the mat in, we accept that state fully as part of our present moment experience. There's a balance between non-attachment and detachment. Whilst we accept ourselves fully, we're not overly taking in these parts as part of ourselves, simply a part of our present. We are the one watching. We are simply the observer. This often makes the thoughts feel a little bit more safe to arise, no matter what they are. Free from judgment, free from secondary conversation. We observe each floating moment. We know that stilling the body eventually brings a calmness into the mind. Similarly to how a hungry body creates an agitated mind, or an anxious mind creates a fidgety body, or restlessness. A sad mind can create slowness, and a stressed mind can create physical tension. What we're doing in yin is bringing a calm stillness to the body, where each muscle is relaxed. We give ourselves permission to be calm, quiet and still, knowing that in time this will shift the mind too into a yin-like state of surrender. When you're feeling ready, we slowly make our way up. We're going to swoop our legs round and we're coming into our deer pose. One leg is a right angle and the other leg is either a nice deep bend where the sole of the foot touches the knee, or a right angle again where there is this spaciousness between your knee and your sole of your foot. This is a little bit more intense, and the shin again is parallel to the outer wall. So we're going to gently swoop around and frame our bolster. You can absolutely guide your bolster at an angle, and I find that this can be a really nice way to still get that intensity of the twist, but not so intense on the inner groin. So wherever we are, we're going to gently collapse forwards onto our bolster. Inhale, and then relax your eyes down. Allow yourself to breathe gently here. Yin is not only amazing for the energy because we are stilling the body and allowing the energy to become stiller, and because we're bringing that balance into the yin-yang energies, but it's also amazing for the energy because we're working with the meridian system, which is a concept derived from traditional Chinese medicine theory. And it's the basis for a lot of things, including yin, acupuncture, massage, reflexology, tai chi. A lot of practices draw upon this concept that there are channels or ley lines of energy running through your body. And that these ley lines carry this unlimited sense of well-being, life force, also known as prana or chi. However you choose to consider this energy, traditional Chinese medicine suggests that these ley lines each relate to a different emotion, each relate to a different internal organ, and each are travelling through similar areas on each our bodies. This pose, for example, is using a stimulation through the groin down the inner thigh to target the stomach and spleen meridians. It's using a twist in the back to target the gallbladder meridian, and a strong pressure on the outer upper left thigh, or the thigh that is down closer to the floor, to target the liver and kidney meridians. Now each of these meridians is thought to relate to something different, such as forgiveness and letting go, contentment and safety, and then under here we have courage, strength, confidence. It's thought that when we have tension in any of the bodies, the emotional body, the physical body, the energy body, that this can interfere with that natural flow, and that we might begin to create a blockage or a stagnancy through certain meridians, and that might lead us to feel certain emotions in excess or lack, or may throw off the whole meridian system. So in yin, our aim is to bring harmony back into that meridian system. Well done. When you're feeling ready, we make our way gently up and we're going to go on to the other side. So just drawing your bolster up and over. You don't really need the block underneath, but you can do. Just brings it up a little bit higher, makes it that bit more gentle. So when you're feeling ready, front shin is parallel to the front of the rim, back leg draws back, and we might draw an angle or we might have it directly aligned. Whatever feels right for you, and then we relax down. So when we incorporate any kind of bolster, blanket, pillow, block, we're making it more of a restorative, nurturing practice. Whilst each sensation might still feel quite intense, for example, we have this lovely compression and stimulation through this base area. Moment to moment, because of the pillow, because of the block propping it up, the pose should feel that tiny bit more gentle, comforting and nurturing. Yin is a wonderful simplistic practice that only requires gravity, the weight of your body and the hard ground. It's an extremely disciplined practice that requires this constant balance of compassion for your body and discipline. However, restorative allows us just to take 20 minutes or so to show our body this slightly more compassionate end of the spectrum on days where we might feel overwhelmed or stressed. It has all the same benefits for the nervous system, for the mind, but it's just that bit more comforting and nurturing. It's thought that our ability to simply sit with sensations, even when they're intense, and just breathe through them, can help improve our discipline in day-to-day life. It changes our relationship with discomfort. It makes us more able to sit in stillness. We don't need to be silencing the present moment. So similarly, just how yin can help us improve our discipline off the mat, restorative can help us improve our compassion towards ourselves and towards our body off the mat. We're here for a few more breaths. Before we make our way up, coming into your Savasana, and it's up to you how you choose to take your Savasana. Many say if you have the legs elevated, it can be really nice and relaxing. Take whatever feels right for you. Allow your arms to rest wherever feels right for you. As you begin to relax down through the back body, Pay attention to the melting down with every exhale. Pay attention to the expansion as you inhale. When we practice yin, we're creating these areas of blockages and compression, along with stimulating through specific meridians. Today we focused on the lower body, mostly the hips and knees. So allow yourself in this ultimate counter pose of Savasana just to observe what sensations you can feel throughout those areas. If your mind begins to wander, give yourself that space, that permission, just to be still, to observe the thought in stillness, as if it's separate from you, as if it's part of your present moment experience. We don't need to place any secondary conversation. The thought didn't come from you. It's simply something that you're experiencing. We allow our awareness to resettle on the physical, the breath, the sensations that we feel throughout the areas that we've targeted. When you're feeling ready, bring movement into your fingers and into your toes. Gently make your way onto one side and up into a comfortable seated position. Well done. Namaste.